Got a good start offensively. Got 2 games over 100, which is nice. Defensively, we got a lot of work to do. South's a good challenge. I mean, they've given us 2 good games. We've got a 3-game series with these guys, and this is the 3rd game in that 3-year series, and both the first 2 have been decided by single digits. So, they played us well. I think they'll play as well again. They're doing a good job getting a free throw line on their offensive end. They're a hard playing group. They had a rough first game, but I watched it against Mobile. Mobile actually played really well, and I don't know if it's one of those trap games where South just wasn't ready, but they just went up to Buffalo, where I came from obviously before I got here, and they handled Buffalo pretty easily. So I think they're a quality team that we had better on, and to be honest with you, at this point, we need to be getting better ourselves, particularly on the defensive end. So big point emphasis been, can we get better on defense? Individually, we need guys to get better. As a team, we need to get better. We've got a long ways to go on the defensive end. We've been trying to make that point with our guys since the end of the game Friday night. So, but it'll be good to get back out there and play again Tuesday.
Start on the right here with Charlie.
Yeah, Coach, after the game, you mentioned missing Bediako and needing some rim protection. Just where have you seen a guy like Nick Pringle improve in that regard?
You know what? Nick doesn't have a block shot yet in the season, so he hasn't improved as much as I'd like to see him improve. That's a big challenge that we've made to him, just because if he's going to be a rim protector, you need to block some shots at the rim. So we need him to get better. Mo Wage's, I think, one of the best in the country so far. He's had an 18% block rate. He has protected the rim a little bit. We need to get Nick doing a little bit better. I think Nick's more than capable of it. He's athletic. He's just got to go challenge some shots. I mean, we had some switches in the game Friday night with a guard driving him. He's got to get off his feet and block a shot. But that's been a point of emphasis, is we got to get better rim protection. We got to give up fewer blow-bys. Our pick and roll defense has to get better. We're getting driven downhill. We're kind of in our drop. We kind of played with Charles last year that kind of pushed teams down to Charles, and nobody scored it very well on Charles at the rim, and they're getting downhill on us and scoring on us now. So that's actually been a big point of emphasis that we got to get a lot better at.
Stay on the right here with Nick Kelly.
Yeah, Grant Nelson through 2 games. I mean, what is maybe, obviously you've seen him plenty in practice, but what has maybe surprised you about his game where you didn't expect him to do this early?
You know what? He hasn't surprised us a ton because we've gotten to see it in practice all summer and fall. But I think maybe what he's surprised some people that haven't seen him play all summer and fall is how well he handles it. He's able to handle it and pick and roll. He gets downhill. He can drive it. You can really play like a guard at 6'11", which is great. I think you saw in the first game we kind of set some step up pick and rolls with a guard setting them. They don't switch. He gets downhill. He dunked on the one. So, putting him in pick and rolls as the handler has been good for us. He can see over it. I think he handled it in pick and rolls 11 times all of last season. I don't know how many he's handled the first 2 games. My guess is close to 11 in 2 games. And, probably need to do it even more, to be honest with you. So I think just him handling it, whether it's in space or in pick and rolls or whatever, he's pretty. He's also 100% free throw line. He's 14-14 free throw line, which it's nice when you're big that it's going to get fouled because he attacks the rim so strong and goes so hard and stuck to the free throw line, make free throws like he's doing.
In the back with Ryan.
Coach, a little different question. Beginning of basketball season, but we're the heart of football season. You've been here a few years. How do you parlay a season like this for Alabama with your program to get exposure? I see you at the games. How do you kind of build with this program with football as well?
Yeah, I mean, the football program here is, in my opinion, the best football program in the country. I mean, you look at the last 16, 17 years since Coach Saban's taken over, they've done a better job than anybody in the country. So I was fortunate enough to walk into a situation where I can learn from best team sports program possibly in the country, and for sure in football, which I'm a big football fan. So how do we parlay it? Well, one is I personally learned from them as to what they're doing. Two is, you know, our players get to see them, you know, we follow it. I mean, can't help but follow it being here. It's what everybody talks about. So, you know, how does a guy like Jalen Milroe handle some adversity? Like, I think he's done pretty well. I don't know him personally. I get to watch from the outside a little bit and see I think he's been unbelievable. You know, how he handled, didn't play particularly well. He's playing as well as anybody in the country right now. So how do some of our guys, we come out in the first 2 games, maybe we don't play that well. Maybe a guy doesn't play as many minutes as he wants, you know. We've got a little bit different situation in basketball, you know, football. One quarterback plays, and basketball, you can kind of have 2 guys at the same position play at the same time. You put, if you choose, you put 5-point guards out there if you want, you know, like, so it's a little different, but some guys play fewer minutes than what they want. You know, so how do you handle some adversity in the first 2 games? I think, you know, a kid like Jalen's showed us how to do that. How does a team handle some adversity? You know, they lose early in the season to Texas, and you know, how do you come back, bounce back, get better? You know, talk about the process. Like, we haven't played particularly well the first 2 games on defense. How do we, you know, continue day by day getting better at things we got to work at? So we even before I got here, I've got a practice plan. We've got some Excel sheet. And there's tabs at the bottom, and one of the tabs, you know, it's different drills. One of the tabs is quotes, just a bunch of general quotes. Got a quote of the day, but I had a separate tab that said saving quotes. That was all the way back to when I was at Romulus as a high school coach. I had saving quotes, and then so we still pull out some saving quotes around here. They're a little more applicable maybe here, since they get to hear them on the regular for the most part. But you know, we definitely learn as coaches. We learn. We go to the fall camp when the speakers are here, get to hear them, and then we pay attention to what's going on over there pretty well.
In the middle with Mike Rodak.
You mentioned after the game that Ryland hasn't really broken out right yet. Just what does he have to do? What is he working on to get there?
You know what? Offensively, I think Ryland's just got to keep letting the game come to him. You know, he's really talented shooter. You know, I think he's going to have a breakout game. I'm convinced of it. I see him, what he does in practice. He can really make shots as well as Mark and Aaron and Grant are playing. Teams are going to have to load up on those 3. I mean, I think we're maybe the only SEC team that has 2 guys averaging 20 points, and Sears is right there. So we could easily have 3 guys averaging 20 points or more. And teams are going to really concentrate on those 3 guys. Well, get a guy that shoots as well as Ryland does. He can have an explosion in a hurry. We saw it last year. He had some good offensive games. You know, I think sometimes with him, it's how teams choose to guard us. If they're going to stay locked onto him on the perimeter and open up huge driving gaps for those other 3 guys, it helps them because he got a shooter on the floor. If they're going to choose to try to cut those guys' water off and really load up in the gaps heavy, and Island gets some open 3. You saw they kick down 3. You can end up with 3 or 4 of those. I think he could do a little bit better job maybe on the offensive glass, getting some easy buckets, getting out in transition a little harder, getting some easy buckets in transition. But he's been great on defense, like really good. He did an unbelievable job on Swope in the second half, kind of reminiscent to what he had done with Wendell Green last year at Auburn. So really trying to sell him on being one of the best perimeter defenders in the country, and I think he's capable of doing that.
On the left, Katie.
You talked a lot in your opening about defense and have to play better as a team and individually. Do you feel like after the last game, the message is really sinking in with some guys that if you don't guard, you're not going to play?
Yeah, they didn't play, you know, nearly as many minutes as they wanted to. So, you know, we planned on playing a deeper rotation in some of these bye games, but I'm not. You know, Indiana State, they're a tough team. They were right with us for the majority of the game. We had to play who we had to play to win the game. And, you know, we were not playing great on defense. Some guys' defensive leverage numbers weren't great. So I think sometimes, especially with young men this age, that they just always played. You know, you look at some of our freshmen Sam Walters by far and away the best player on his high school team. It didn't matter how bad he was on defense. He was going to stay in the game. Like, they needed him to stay in the game. You know, Davin Cosby, super talented on offense. Probably majority of his career, didn't matter how hard he played on defense, he's going to stay in. They needed him on offense. Well, that's not the case anymore. These guys are not going to just stay in the game because they're that much better on offense. We've got a lot of good offensive options. So you've got to bring it on the defensive end in order to play, and I think they're seeing that, and I think some guys are locked in. I mean, we've got guys staying after practice with Coach Bonone trying to get better on defense. You know, a lot of guys stay after practice to shoot jumpers, shoot free throws, make sure guys are staying after yesterday's practice, today's practice, working on pick and roll coverages, working like guys want to get better, they're going to figure out how to get better. And guys that want to make excuses will make excuses and not get better. And I think we got a lot of guys that are trying to stay after and get better now.
Nick Alvarez.
As a follow-up on the defense, how do you weigh kind of a new kid coming in, learning the system, and making those effort plays that are just it's going to be needed to get those minutes throughout the non-conference?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of different numbers we look at. We're big in analytics. So first one you look at is blue collar points. Like, are you getting deflections, making hustle plays, playing hard? We chart that in game all the time. You get to the end of the games and you look at like their defensive leverage numbers. Are we better with you on the floor on the defensive end versus when you're off the floor? So, and then individually there's, are they giving up blow-bys? Are bigs blocking shots at the rim? Are they impacting, our defense in ways like that they can that way? I just, there's lots of different things we're looking at, and obviously just watch the film and see if in the right spot, not in the right spot, different things like that. We chart every box out. Are they boxing out every time? What are their defensive rebounding percentage numbers? So, the different guys will be able to impact, a guy like Pringle or Jared Stevenson, Grant, Moawage, like, are they blocking shots? Are they giving us rim protection? Guys like Davin, Ryland, Sam Walters, are you getting beat off the dribble? What are your blow-by numbers? And then everybody's got a defensive leverage number. Were we better or worse with you in the game on the defensive end? So that's some of the stuff we're looking at.
Two more. Austin.
Yeah, he's missed the first 2 games. Are you expecting Chris Parker to be back for tomorrow night?
You know what? We're in the process of talking about possibly redshirting Chris. Just get stronger, get better at some things. I think he's got a chance to be really good. It just, we're in the process of that. He had the injury. He's healed from the injury. He's practicing, but we're in the process of talking through that right now.
Last one, Kerry.
Coach, I want to ask you this, not just as the head coach at Alabama, but as an ACA dad. Do you ever get any kind of brushback or blowback from people upset that you schedule Friday home games while football's still going on in high school?
No. We could schedule them on Saturday to compete with the Alabama football team. If I don't think that would go as well either. I mean, it's hard scheduling. Monday's the first day you could play a game, so a lot of teams try to play Monday just to open the season as early, because your practices start 30 days before that. So you get the Monday. So, you could have played Monday, Thursday, possibly. I think once college football is over, it's a lot easier to schedule Saturday games. So early in November, yeah, I'm with you. I like to watch high school football. I've been to a lot of ACA games. My daughters go there, but we got to schedule them. We can schedule them. A lot of teams, playing Friday. Look, college basketball's got a pretty full slate of games on Friday nights while college football's still going on. I don't. Media-wise, TV coverage-wise, just fan base-wise, I don't think it's all that smart to compete with college football. While college football's still going on here in November. So, once football's over, or the regular season's over in a few weeks, I think you'll see a lot more Saturday games. But that's kind of the reality of having some overlap between the two sports.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks. Appreciate you guys.